Hello, everybody. Today it's just gonna be me, the Sauce Master, all by myself. I'm in charge, so I get to do what I want. So as you can probably guess, that way, we're gonna be talking about Bleach today. Uh, just some real quick notes before we get started. Probably going to be some spoilers. Don't mean for it to happen, but I love talking about animes that I have literally watched in their entirety at least 7 or so times. So let's get started. Oh well, actually, real quick. You know what? I guess I can't do the intro. I'm Sauce Master. That's it. That's all we got to go on today. Uh, so welcome to Anime Fever Reviews. Bleach. All right, so right here I have the cover title for the first book, chapter one, or well, not chapter one, I guess book one of the series from the manga. We're gonna be pretty much talking about the anime though. I might gloss over a little bit of the manga as well, just for some like quick, side notes and whatever. So Bleach originally aired in Japan October 5th in 2004, aired all the way up until 2012. Um, so this is a series spanning across 8 years. Is that correct? 8 years? Yeah, 8 years. And aired in the US on Toonami, everyone's favorite anime channel, in 2006 of September. Now, it gets tricky with Toonami's airing for Bleach because I don't know if it was underfunded for the studios or what, but they kept going on hiatus, sub the series. So you would get back in 2006, they aired for about the first year, they got about 56 episodes out. Then after they got through the 56 episodes, it was replaced by Death Note so they could catch up dub. It aired some more episodes, I think 150 something more episodes. Then it was replaced by Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Or well, I can't remember. No, when it came back, it replaced Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but it did air again, and I can't remember what time slot took over. But we did eventually air all of the 366 episodes, I believe is what it was. Let me double check. Yeah, 366 episodes, which I would probably say, and I hate to say it because it's literally one of the things that just doesn't make Bleach the best anime, is the filler that does not have any consequence whatsoever in the main story. And it's probably a good chunk of it, actually. Probably about half the series is filler, and it has no bearing on the story whatsoever. Um, so again, IMDb scored this anime about an 8.1 out of 10. MyAnimeList.net, which it was just what the other what the other part of the search engine showed up as, gave it a 7 point, which I thought was really weird. Um, IMDb gave it a higher score than an anime rating site, so they must have some very high criteria if the normies rated it higher. Like that is some very excessive rating systems right there. I can't even imagine. Uh, I mean, I personally, well, actually, you know what, I'll get into that later. I'm gonna give you my personal rating at the end here. Um, so Bleach, just to get some cliff notes on what the series is actually about. So you got your main character Ichigo Kurosaki. He is a originally starting out normal teenager, but he has supernatural powers. It's kind of a Yu Yu Hakusho, but he's been able to see ghosts the whole time, or maybe the anime version of the Sixth Sense. I see dead people. Uh, but Ichigo Kurosaki has lived his whole life being able to see ghosts, or at least up from the age of I want to say like 7 or 8, maybe. Um, and he lives his life as kind of a punk but also a righteous person. He lives to defend the little guy. So he kind of has that Yusuke Urameshi kind of vibe where he's violent and a thug, but he doesn't do bad stuff. He just gets in fights a lot. Um, and so, anyways, continuing the story, eventually one night his powers kind of, I guess you could say, enhance themselves or whatever, and he finds himself in the presence of a Soul Reaper. And I'm sorry, I'm bugging out about this hair. It's killing me. Anyways, so he a Soul Reaper. So basically I want to say the customs officer of the underworld, because they go and check people in, basically. Uh, and they also deport monsters to hell. Yeah, I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with that. Um, each Shinigami is equipped with a special sword. They have their own individual names and, spirits residing in them that give them enhanced power along with their soul power. And, they can do some pretty amazing things. They can walk on air. They can, you know, shoot slashes of energy. Their swords can transform themselves or equip like turn into like armor or something. Like it just kind of depends on personality type and stuff like that. So Ichigo Kurosaki, he meets the Soul Reaper, and her name is Rukia Kuchiki. She is a part of a royal kind of Soul Reaper clan or something. It's hard to really describe. Like they've just been Soul Reapers for a long time, I guess, but she's not like from the family. She's like a stepsister, or not a stepsister. She's a sister-in-law. She's a sister-in-law. And anyway, so Soul Reapers don't normally expect normal human beings to be able to see them. He sees her. Then she basically beats the crap out of him. She explains some stuff. Then they get attacked by a monster called a Hollow. Now, Hollows are these giant monsters. They're basically distorted souls. They have a hole in their chest. It's supposed to represent kind of like their missing heart, basically. That's why they're hollow. Not to be confused with the Heartless. This is not Kingdom Hearts, people. And so we continue on with that. And this is all just the first episode, by the way. This is just, recap of the whole first episode. So this Hollow attacks, the family is injured, a good friend from his high school is injured, and this guy is built like an ox, so that's impressive. Eventually gets to the point where one of his sisters is captured, about to have her soul taken from her, and the Soul Reaper in charge of fighting this guy is down for the count, and the only way to save the sister is for him to basically take her sword to his heart. Like, he has to be pierced in the chest, because there is a very slim chance that he can gain the powers of a Soul Reaper. And he does it. So, in this scenario, he actually succeeds in becoming a Soul Reaper, but instead of taking away just a small amount of her power to awaken these powers of his own, she ends up basically losing all of her power. And he gets, like in the photo here, a giant sword. Now, just as a reference point, these swords are called Zanpakuto. I'll probably be using that term soon. Keep saying it's, sword, but Zanpakuto. Anyways, give me just a moment. Sorry. There we go. All right, and so to continue on, then you have the amazing like jazz choir thing going on as he just plows through this dude, just slicing with this giant sword. Like this thing is longer than his body, way longer. It's ridiculous. Uh, and basically from that day forth, now he is officially a Soul Reaper. because he cannot give back her powers, and she needs someone to stand in to defend the town of Karakura. Yeah, Karakura. Maybe. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. But anyways, uh, so now he has these powers, and he has to basically take over her position. Due to the fact that she has no powers, now she needs something to do basically on the day to day, so she's not sitting around bored. So she decides to get a what is it called? A shikigami. I think that's what it is called. It's basically a faux body that they possess, because Soul Reapers are essentially souls that have passed on but have been able to train their soul power to become Soul Reapers or whatever. I haven't really gotten that whole theory down yet. Um, but so now she bugs him in his daily life as a Soul Reaper. He has to train himself to become stronger and fight other Soul Reapers eventually, actually. He first has to fight a multitude of different hollows. In the time frame of him fighting these hollows, you meet a couple of other characters. You've got oh man, what is his name? You know what? I can't even remember it. My goodness, I can't remember his name. I can't believe I forgot an anime character's name. That is absolutely awful. I think they called him like Mr. Sandals, Mr. Hat and Sandals at one point, or Clogs or something. But anyways, so eventually, he gets help from different people, fighting hollows, getting stronger, learning more about his power, to the point where he finds out that Rukia is in danger of being taken back to Soul Society to be executed because her giving her powers away to Ichigo Kurosaki was a law against Soul Society, and so now she has to face the death penalty. In this, turn of events, he goes through all these crazy adventures. He has to, beef himself up. He has to learn his Zanpakuto's name so he can call out its second form. I think it's called a Shikai. And then eventually throughout the series, then he learns his Bankai, which is its final form. And I know what you're thinking. How many forms are there? Just 3. Original, Shikai, Bankai. That's it. There's no Super Saiyan God, it doesn't get crazy. Like it's 3 forms, you're done. You can train yourself to be stronger, but you get 3 types of weapons. That's it. There's some rules to everything. Complete. You're done. But anyways, I digress. So with this series, I'm just gonna throw out a couple of facts because obviously I don't have anyone to riff on, so we're just gonna keep this short. So again, this series has 366 episodes. You can find all 366 episodes on both Crunchyroll and Hulu. Unfortunately, you're only going to be able to find the subbed version on Crunchyroll, which is usually the case for early 2000s and older anime. On Hulu, on the other hand, you can find all of them, and they are English subbed and dubbed. And I know it's gonna throw you off, but there's only 16 seasons. But on Hulu it says it's 26. It's because they separate a lot of the sub arcs to make it a little bit easier. Also, it kind of helps divide it up because they have their listings for subbed and dubbed right next to each other. So you got episode 30 sub, then episode 30 dub right next to it. So it kind of helps, it helps you find stuff. Now with Netflix, it has subbed and dubbed, but it only has up to season 5, so it's definitely not one of my recommended, platforms to watch it. But I mean, if you have Netflix and you don't have Hulu or Crunchyroll, check it out if you can. I would probably switch over to Hulu, or actually no, don't do that because Netflix has better movies, but definitely check out Hulu for the complete series. And so to continue on, You can find two of the four movies available for Bleach actually on Netflix, so I'm going to give them a little plus there because you cannot find that on Crunchyroll or Hulu. They have two of the most latest movies though, so which honestly are the better ones. Just my own opinion. Uh, Hellverse and Fade to Black. Preferably, I like Fade to Black. I think that's a really good one. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm gonna go with Hellverse because it plays into the finale of the Hueco Mundo series or the Hueco Mundo saga, and I just love how they like redid his whole fight with Ulquiorra in just pure HD, and I love it. I love it. The only thing that I hate about it is that all of these movies literally retain no integrity in the actual series. None of them are canon whatsoever. Like they throw some stuff that is canon into the movies, but that doesn't translate back into the anime itself. But anyways, all four titles of the movies you have Bleach, Memories of Nobody, you have Bleach, Diamond Dust Rebellion, you have Bleach, uh, Fade to Black, and then Hellverse. Each one was released about a year from each other. So you got starting 2006, 2007, 2008, but then you have Hellverse, which actually took place about 2 years later. Um, which again I think is probably my favorite, just because the crispness on that Ulquiorra fight. Oh my god. Love it. Just aces. Aces on all of it. Trying to think what else. What else? Again, I think we've already talked about it before. We did the comparison for live actions probably in one of our early episodes. The live action of Bleach. Again, this is not a terrible adaptation. I liked it actually. Like it was very close to the original, or very close to the anime. They took some liberties, threw some characters in early, uh threw in Grand Fisher a little bit too early for my liking, but you know what? It was solid. I liked it. The animation was good. Again, probably I've mentioned it in that video that I am totally not down with the fact that they made Chad just a really tall Asian dude when he is supposed to be like straight up from Spain. Uh, but whatever. That's not my deal. Anyways, so with that, definitely check it out. Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll. If you want to watch it dubbed, go to Hulu. If you want to watch it subbed, watch either Netflix or Crunchyroll. But you're probably gonna want to go to Crunchyroll for it. So let's see. Oh, and some really good news for Bleach fans that watched the series completely. It is coming back out this year, or at least as far as I know news wise. I'm actually looking at an article right now on phoneswiki.com. I have a link down below in the description. Check that out definitely. It talks about how we're supposed to be getting season 17 released this year, which I am all about because this is about the Quincy's. And the Quincy arc is probably my most favorite arc, other than uh, probably somewhere around the end with Hueco Mundo against the like Iran cars. So definitely check that out. I don't know where you're going to be able to find the release. You might be able to find it on Crunchyroll. Not 100% sure. You might be able to actually find it on Hulu because they are so up to date on the episodes. They might even do a simulcast. So definitely keep your subscriptions up to date for that. For my next topic, we're not going to do any binge by trash because it's really more fun to do it as a group. So I'm just going to skip right down to Saucy's pick. So you guys probably aren't going to recognize this title. It is a little obscure. Hopefully, maybe someone will recognize it, but it is called Her Summon. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's probably an isekai. It's not. Well, it maybe falls into the category, but it's not a traditional. So, you've got your gentleman up here, upside down. He is from modern day Japan. Our main character here is a shut-in Hikikimori, which they actually use a reference to in the manhwa. Now, with this story, you have a gentleman who is typically just an innocent nerd originally, but due to the fact that an idol had an unfortunate name, he mixed it together in a sentence that sounded not very good. Basically, when he combined the idol's name with basically being a fan of her, it came out translated as pedophile, because we all know with or well, at least if you don't know, you do now. Some combinations of words have a different meaning than what you think they do. So, be careful about what words in Japanese you're connecting, because you could be saying something pretty bad. Uh, but anyways, due to this fact, uh, of saying the fact that he is a pedophile, or a like certain pop star pedophile, and she's also the youngest group in her pop star group anyway, so it just made it bad in general. He said this on the news, like this was a live feed. So he said this in front of a bunch of people, basically ruined his life. So for 3 years, he stayed in his room, shut in, becoming a what would you call it? I mean, he's kind of a YouTube star, but he's not. He makes memes. But one day, in this alternate world with insufficient mana, a young summoner decides that she is going to summon her first creature. Well, that first creature ends up being our main character here. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's stuck in the world and he's going to have OP powers. You're wrong on one thing. He is not stuck in this world. He does have OP powers, but he is not stuck. In fact, he goes back and forth between modern day Japan and this kind of medieval magic world on the brink of losing its magic. And it's kind of funny because yes, he does a lot. He does have a lot of physical prowess, but he's still fairly weak when it comes to these like gigantic monsters that roam the planet. Um, the only reason he beats these creatures, and originally because he's a huge fraidy cat and he just like just not, he cannot compute the fact that he needs to fist fight with some of these guys. He uses items from his world that somehow suck mana and create like laser beams and crap. It's ridiculous. First chapter, summoned, has to fight a giant fly monster thing after he was chasing a mosquito in his bedroom. So he has a full can of bug spray in his hand, and he is a true weeaboo, hikikimori, whatever you want to call him, because he thinks it's a dream, but he realizes it's a magical world in his dream, and so he immediately goes with the from the darkest shadows. He does that super cringy magic text thing or whatever. It's cringy. In fact, it's to the point where his summoner just has to like curl up and die every time he talks when he attacks, because it's just so cringy. Like all of his stuff is super just sixth grade syndrome bad. And when he does this, the items activate and become these crazy powerful weapons. He like shot a laser of bug spray at this thing and like split it up and blew up the land. It was insane. But eventually he finds out that when he does this, he basically uses up everything in the items he brings. So I need to stop clicking my pen. Apologies. But again, it's a pretty good read. It's I like it not for the fact that it has some pretty decent action scenes, but for the fact that it's kind of a recovery deal, and I love it when I see a main character having to go through a trauma and then coming back, because he starts out as a shut in neat, and as he comes to this world and he talks to his summoner and he meets these new people, he kind of comes back to reality. He's more comfortable here. Well, he's not more comfortable, but he musters the courage to try and go outside, talk to people, do what's right. Like he gets his moral backbone back slowly, and he works on becoming a better person, regardless of whether he's going to be in this world or not, because he goes back and forth. So and just in general, I'd probably give this a rating of a 7.5, because obviously there's some stuff that needs worked on, but in general, it's not a bad manga. So definitely check it out. You can find it on like Manga Man. If you don't have Apple products. You can find it on, let me take a look here, on Manga Zone. Just, go check it out. Her Summon. Again, 7.5. Not a bad read. I like it. 107 chapters. So, if you got time, you'll have enough for a good weekend, you know? But anyways, that's going to be it for me on my solo rant. Hopefully anything that I said has made any sense. Um, so I'm going to leave it at that, and everyone have a good night. I'm Sauce Master, and tune in again next week. Or sorry, not next week. Tune in again 2 weeks from now. And make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the button. Hit it. You can do it.